Today, we're doing a very easy oil change on this Honda Super Cub C125. And first off, let me just say, this is one of the greatest looking motorcycles of all time. These things are so fun, they're so easy, and they're just as easy to work on. So today I'm gonna walk you through this process, start to finish. I'll put the oil filter number, the oil that we use in the video description below. So without further ado, let's rip into it. My name's Mike, welcome to the channel. So the very first thing we'll do is just start the motorcycle up. We'll let it run for 3 to 5 minutes so we get a full and complete drain. So now with our motorcycle warmed up, the things you're gonna need: an oil drain pan. I've got a few just little shop rags. A rubber glove is helpful here. So now we'll get under the bike, we'll find the oil drain bolt, we'll take that out and drain all the oil. And then that oil drain bolt location, it is gonna be right under the crank here, straight back. If you can see that little bolt in there, I'll put my finger on it from below. That's the one, and you'll see a little washer on it, but it's just right behind that exhaust pipe. Now ours is gonna be a 12 millimeter, so I'll just put a ratchet on that baby. We'll just bust it loose. That kind of hurt my finger. That baby was really on there. Now I'll get my rubber glove on here, and then you will have a crush washer on that drain bolt here, so don't lose that. You don't want to drop these in your oil pan. Woohoo! So our oil is draining nicely. Now we'll get at the oil filter. And the oil filter is right in the same area here. We're gonna remove this little cover that's right behind our rear brake. There's gonna be two 8 millimeter bolts on either side. So as we remove this cover, there's gonna be our filter, there's gonna be a spring, and we'll just take those out, clean up that. In between the cap and then our filter, this is gonna be that little spring. So it sits right in a little recession on that cap, and then there's a recession on that filter too. So let me give you a closer look. So there is that oil filter still sitting in there. You can see that recession where the other half of that spring goes. Maybe I'll just need a little straight screwdriver to kind of help me there. Oh yeah, voila. Now, and I always like to take a rag. We're gonna clean up a couple different things. The surface that filter cap goes on, we're gonna clean out where the oil filter was, and then I'm gonna clean on the bottom of the motorcycle around our oil drain plug. We want everything to make good seals when we put it back together so we don't leak a drop. Well, so let me open our new filter up here. So I got a K&N oil filter for this. So I searched every single auto parts store, every spot in the city I live in. Nobody had a filter for this motorcycle in stock, as it's the most popular vehicle sold in the world of all time. Interesting. So anyways, I ordered this off Amazon. It was here the very next day. So I believe this was $10. I'll link it in the description. Check it out for the oil filter number. Just do it on Amazon. Get yourself a quart of oil as well. Now the oil your motorcycle is gonna take is gonna be 10W30, a full synthetic. I always like to use in these. So we are actually going with a Lucas brand oil. Well, and Lucas and Honda have been partners on many things over the years, so that'll do just fine. So on your brand new filter, we're gonna put this rubber ring in towards the engine. We'll just take a little oil, we'll put it on that rubber ring so that's all lubed up. That's perfect, and then we'll just slide it right into the housing. And you just push that in, you press it on, and you will feel it click onto its little spot. So then I'll kind of do this last part with 2 hands here. I'll hold the spring with my fingers as I put my cap on with the other hand. We're lined up, so I'll hold that cap, and then I'll start my 2 little bolts here. There we go, baby. So now we'll put back in our oil drain bolt. You'll always want to inspect that crush washer there. See what that looks like. Ours doesn't even have a recession in it on either side, which that's what I anticipated. This motorcycle is so new, so low miles still. So this baby's going straight back in. And that's it right there. So now I'll slip my oil pan out here, and then with a rag, I'll kind of clean up any drips or spots that might be on that rear brake pedal, the underside of the engine, the exhaust, and that looks very, very good. So now we can put in our fresh oil here. So we'll take our oil filler cap off here, the dipstick as well. Now, as far as the oil capacity of this bike, Google gets fairly confused when you look this up because this motorcycle has been around since I think it's 1959. So you get a few different answers when you look this up. I think ours is going to be 0.8 or 0.85 quarts. There is going to be a rubber ring in there. So ours did not come out when I pulled out the dipstick. So I'm just gonna push that back on over those threads there. And then you wanna make sure that this area here is nice and clean. We don't want any dirt or debris to fall in our new oil. Let's see how much oil this takes. So to play it safe, we'll just start with 3/4 of a quart. We'll check our level and we'll see what it looks like. Now on our dipstick here, on that very bottom, you'll see a little textured spot. That's going to be our measuring zone, so you can probably see, maybe you can't. There is going to be a line at the top of that, there is a line at the bottom of that. So we want our oil level to end up in between those two lines, and then I always put it closer to that top line. Moment of truth, and the way you'll check this level, we're just going to put the dipstick in. Our bike is on the center stand. You'll want your bike perfectly held straight, but we will not thread the dipstick in all the way. We'll just let it sit right on top, pull it back out, see where our level is. So I don't know if you can see, we're just up to the very bottom of the line there. We're gonna put in just a little bit more oil here. All right. And that is just literally a hair right before that top line. So that is perfect. So now at this point, what we can do, with all of our parts back in, everything is cleaned, everything is sealed. Now we can start our motorcycle up. We'll let it run for 3 to 5 minutes. To get all that new oil pumping, it will pump that through our new filter, which is completely dry still. And then we'll check our level one last time to make sure we're perfect. And the difference there on that dipstick between the lower line and the upper line seems to be about 0.2 or maybe 0.15 quarts. It's not much. Beauties, baby. That is perfect. So about that 0.85 quarts is what our 2023 Super Cup 125 took. Well, and that's a wrap. That's all there is to it. So very, very easy to do that basic oil change yourself. So, and like I said, I'll load up the video description with that K&M filter that we used, the exact Lucas oil I used, and then I'll search around and see if I can't find a genuine Honda oil change kit that would have new rubber rings, a new crush washer in case you want to do all that too. But yeah, nothing to it. So stick around. Down the road, of course, we'll keep doing maintenance on this bike. You know, at a certain mileage, we've got to crack open the engine and there's an oil spinner in there. And so that'll be a maintenance item that we got to look at that, inspect that, clean that, possibly replace some parts. But these are good cycles. They're so fun. They're fairly carefree, you know, to maintain. Nothing is very hard. Nothing is very expensive on these. Honda's tagline for this motorcycle was, "You meet the nicest people on a Honda." And it's so true. This baby spreads the vibes. So comment with any questions. Otherwise, like the video if this helped you out. Subscribe if you want to see more. And until next time.